What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris, once again, and as always, coming at you live from the man cave. A couple of things I want to do today. First off, weird, but throughout the course of my videos, I've had several people send me messages, DMs both on Instagram and comments on my videos, asking me if I could start detailing the kind of beer I'm drinking, or the brand, or recommendations, or stuff like that, which I thought was funny because way back at the very jump, I had, in retrospect, not a very good idea for a vinyl beer pairing where I paired several different kinds of beer for the records and, you know, moods and whatnot. And it was the lowest amount of views I've ever got on any video ever in the history of my channel. Ever. I'm talking about by a lot too. Like the first video I did, the very first one when I had like 5 subscribers, did like 3 times the views that this one did. So, but anyway, all the time, I have people ask me, what kind of beer you're drinking? Can you recommend it? Can you tell me where I can get it? Yada yada. So you know what? I'll just spend a quick second on it every video if I remember. The brew I'm currently enjoying, Huger Street IPA, Palmetto Brewing Company, beautiful Charleston, South Carolina, the town of my birth. If you guys have never been to Charleston, South Carolina, I highly recommend it. It's still the most beautiful city I've ever seen. I know my opinion is biased. Anyway, very good IPA. You guys would dig it very much. I think you can find it in North and South Carolina and maybe even Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. So if you live in one of those 3 states, I think you should be good. Anyway, now to the vinyl. So, the first thing I want to address is VCLT. I have been the recipient of more vinyl karma than any person should ever rightfully be the recipient of ever. I don't know. You people are so nice to me. You're so good to me, and I can't figure out why. I mean, I like to think I'm all right, but you people, you guys just take the cake. And the VCLT package that I have today, red tape's not how it came, of course. That's to protect the address and the identity of both myself and the sender. But it came from Melinda Murphy. If you guys have never seen a video by Melinda Murphy, or if you've never subscribed, which you probably do if you subscribe to me, you need to do yourself a favor and do that. She's awesome. She's great. Topics are always great. She's always sincere. She takes time out of her day to comment on your videos and to respond to your comments on her videos. And it's always a thorough comment. It's not just a, hey, thanks for watching, take care. It's never just that. She will address your comments and she will break them down. She will do the same on your videos. She'll comment on your comment to her comment. I mean, she's great. And her subject matter is awesome, and you can tell she's a lifelong music fan, and this was not something that just came to pass for her. She's been in it forever, and she'll be in it forever, and she's just awesome, and she's sincere, and she's very cool, and I just always think to myself, like, man, if she were my big sister, she and I would have had a lot of fun going to concerts and shows and hanging out together, and that would have just been awesome. But yeah, so Melinda, before I even open this, I just want to tell everybody, Melinda Murphy, to you, you are super awesome. You're amazing, and I love subscribing to your channel. I love every video. It's must-see YouTube television for me. When I open up my YouTube app and I see a video from you, it's like, oh God, I got to watch this as soon as I can. Lunch breaks at work, whatever spare time I have when I'm supposed to be working and not lunching, anytime. So thank you in advance. I don't know what this is, but I'm getting ready to find out at the exact same time everybody else does. Guys, I've cut myself open with a box cutter several times in my life, so I'm always as careful as I can be with this, so forgive me if it takes a minute. I know what I'm doing. I'm just careful. God, Melinda, you are super cool. You are awesome. So, she sent a letter with it. Melinda, I think you would be cool with me reading this, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, if that's okay with you. Again, this is, not something that discloses anything personal or anything like that. So I think you'd be cool with it, and I just want to share with everybody how awesome you are. So I think you'd be cool with it. Chris, hi. On a recent video, you told us you sold some records for financial reasons. Here are a couple you may have sold. Rule number 1, keep it, sell it, trade it, or give it away. They are yours with no strings attached. Rule number 2, absolutely do not send anything back. This is a vinyl community love train, not a boomerang. You have a great channel that I really enjoy. Sincerely, Melinda Murphy. You're awesome. I'll definitely keep that letter with these records. But here they are. They're awesome. You guys know what they are, the Beatles Rubber Soul and the Beatles Revolver. The mono reissues, I think, from 2014 or 15. I'm pretty sure. Melinda, I don't know if you knew this, but these are 2 of my top 5 non-jazz albums of all time. Sincerely. Top 5 non-jazz ever. Because I often find that I have to separate everything else from my jazz collection, because my jazz collection is obviously my number 1. So I have to separate everything else from that. But top 5 non-jazz ever, right here. And these mono reissues are great. I once owned the recent stereo reissues and did sell them when times got tough. So I will be happy, very happy, to keep these. You are the greatest. Thank you very much. Again, guys, follow, subscribe, watch a video. Melinda Murphy, get to know her. She's just a great person. Again, what I said a minute ago, I met so thoroughly. You could have been my big sister, and that would have been just great. I'm the oldest kid. I'm the oldest of 3 children, so I never had an older brother or older sister, but you'd have been great for that. We'd have had a blast going to see concerts and talking about music. Cheers to you, Melinda Murphy. You guys, please subscribe, watch her videos. She's awesome. Now, you guys have seen me do this before, because these always come. I got a great friend, a great connection. He's a friend, a great friend, and who lives in Virginia. I'll just say that. I don't have to give anything else away. But he's my absolute main jazz hookup. Absolute, easily. He comes across it all the time. It's a huge passion of his. He runs across a lot of it. He knows I don't get as much exposure to it where I'm at. We got classic rock and southern rock for days, but jazz we don't. So when you guys see all the jazz pieces that I share in my videos, trust me when I tell you, 99.9% of them did not come from any local record store at all. They come from knowing people. They come from friends. They come from connections. And this guy right here, this gentleman has put absolutely 75% of them in my hands. So thank you, buddy. So how we usually do things is he'll find a few. He'll show them to me. Hey, you have that. Hey, you have that. Hey, you have that. And we'll make deals on them. I'll buy them off of them. And basically, I'll pay along the way. And when he can fill a box this big, he ships them to me. No reason for us to ship every purchase, or else he'd be spending half of his life at the post office. And he's a busy man. He's got shit to do, so I don't expect him to do that. So, I know most of what's in here, obviously. Well, at some point along the way, I knew everything that was in here. But again, it always takes a couple of months to fill these boxes. So sometimes when I open these for the first time, there's always a couple of big surprises that I forgot I bought in here. Always. So it's always very awesome. to risk even the possibility of anybody's address being exposed. So that's been removed completely. So here we go. This is always so much fun for me. My boy sure does know how to package them up too, guys. Let me tell you. You know when you order from this guy. You know when you buy off this guy. You know you're getting stuff taken care of. All right. So I'm going to go right down the line. He never stacks them like in order from the greatest to like the least greatest. He gets them in there. He gets them sturdy. He gets them taken care of. So these are going to be out of order from like from least important to me to holy shit. But we're going to go right on down the line. First and foremost, Milt Jackson Vibrations. If you guys are into jazz vibraphone, very few guys more worth listening to than Milt Jackson. I mean, there's Milt Jackson, there's Bobby Hutcherson, several others obviously, but you know those are probably, at least for me anyway. But this is of course original pressing. It's beautiful, man, awesome. Next up, Slide Hampton and his orchestra. Now, obviously, this is called Drum Suite. Obviously, it's an original pressing. And, of course, I knew about Slide Hampton. It's original mono pressing. Of course, I knew about Slide Hampton. But the main drawing for me, I'm not going to lie, is featuring Yusef Lateef on flute and tenor sax. I love Yusef Lateef, and especially here lately. I'm really gotten into him hard. I'm filling out that discography as quickly as I can, guys. Yusef Lateef. If you don't know, get yourself familiar, please. Yusef Lateef, get it into your life. He's awesome. One of the more interesting and talented individuals to me, all the way around, all across the board in the history of jazz. But this one features Yusef Lateef and Max Roach on the drums, which of course Max Roach is obviously one of the greatest drummers in the history of not just jazz but music. So that's all. That was those two drawing me right in all by themselves. Next one, a really interesting one for me because a couple reasons. It's called The Magic Touch, and it's by Tad Dameron and his orchestra. Original pressing again. You guys know how I wag and wheel. Pull this one out real quick because one of my favorite jazz labels, Riverside, guys. If you guys aren't very, very familiar with Riverside, I hope that you'll get more familiar because everybody talks about Blue Note and Prestige and Impulse, and they should. But labels like Riverside, the Contemporary, and Jazzland, Memarchy, Verve, oftentimes get overlooked, and they shouldn't be because the music is every bit as good. And good news for you guys, for some of you guys who might be interested in them, is fortunately enough for you guys is they're cheaper. They're cheaper than the Blue Notes, and so. But the cast on this one, the personnel, featuring Bill Evans, Johnny Griffin, Joe Wilder, Clark Terry, and Philly Joe Jones. Man, even if you didn't know anything about Tad, that personnel alone should be enough for you to grab that. Am I correct? Next up, all right. This is essential, really. Sarah Vaughan. So awesome. Accompanied by Clifford Brown on the trumpet, Paul Kennichet on the tenor. I think I'm saying that right. As much as I love Paul, I've never been positive as to whether or not I'm saying that correctly. So if I'm not, please correct me. Herbie Mann on the flute, Jimmy Jones on the piano, Joe Benjamin on bass, Roy Haynes on the drums. And guys, I'm usually very funny about my jazz, and I'll tell you how this is I'm one of those guys who usually doesn't consider vocal jazz to be jazz. Only a few exceptions for me. To me, Frank Sinatra is not jazz. To me, Dean Martin is not jazz. I love them. I love those guys. I like to listen to them, but they're not jazz to me. Few exceptions. Johnny Hartman, especially the album with Coltrane, that's jazz because damn, you got Coltrane's band playing with them. That's jazz. And for this Sarah Vaughan album, I mean, again, you've got Clifford Brown and Paul Kennichet and Herbie Mann and Roy Haynes. this is a jazz album to me, and I know that's interesting to you guys, but you know, please don't bash me too hard about it. But opinions are like white albums. Everybody's got one, or 8 like I used to have. It's down to 2 now, guys. All right, next up. Believe it or not, I still am missing John Coltrane albums in my collection. Believe it or not. And I'm closing that gap slowly but surely. So I was very happy to add New Thing at Newport, John Coltrane, and Archie Shepp. Neat little sticker on the backside. Export only, for sale outside continental United States only. I'm pretty sure that that's not common on the average person, but it's on this one. Anytime I can add Impulse to my collection. The greatest spines in the history of music, in my opinion. And also the greatest gatefolds in the history of music, in my opinion. This one's super clean. It's amazing. Personnel: John Coltrane, McCoy Tyner, Jimmy Garrison, Elvin Jones. You guys know the Coltrane Band by now. And then Archie Shepp, Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes. Again, mentioned him earlier. Bar Phillips and Joe Chambers on the drums. So, man, the cast. Obviously, I can't wait to throw this one on. Can't wait to throw every damn one of these on. I love getting these boxes, buddy. You have no idea how much I love getting these. All right. Next up was one that my boy was in a record store in his Virginia town, and he found this one and was immediately like, dude, I found this. You want? Because he knows how much I love Eric Dolphy. And for him, he respects Eric Dolphy. Thinks he's a great story, respects the man's talent, but his style of jazz is a little out there for him. He's more of a hard bop guy, so he usually will defer to me for Dolphy. I just think Dolphy's fascinating. He's one of the most talented individuals in the history of not only jazz music, but music period. I did a video about a dozen or so videos back, just simply and essentially just on Eric Dolphy. So if you guys want to scroll back a few videos, if you haven't already seen it, and take a look. But this is Eric Dolphy at the 5 spot with Booker Little, Mal Waldron, Richard Davis, and Eddie Blackwell. It's on New Jazz, another one of the labels that doesn't get enough attention. But he was nice enough to pick that up for me. And usually how that deal works is he'll send me the message, he'll be in the store, and how it works usually is he'll tell me the price. If I can make it work, I'll PayPal him the money. And he'll go ahead and pick it up for me. If I can't make it work, which has been a couple of times, unfortunately, and I always hate it when I can't. If I can't make it work, he'll just be like, okay, and I'll just tell him, hey man, no hard feelings. And, you know, a week or so maybe if I've got it and it's still there. But and then like sometimes if I can make half of it work, he'll be like, okay, well I'll cover the other half and you can get me when you get it. Because that's just, again, I've gotten enough records off of him now. He knows I'm good for it, and he's an awesome guy. All right, this is another one, same instance. He's in the store, he sees it, knows I need to have it. But this one's really interesting for me because it's fantastic. Frank Strozier, I think I'm saying that last name right, and he's one of the few older jazz musicians who is still with us walking this earth. I had never heard of Frank Strozier. Sincerely, I had never heard of him. But so I messaged him back. I'm like, dude, I've never even heard of Frank Strozier. I'm like, that's interesting. And he messages me back and he goes, well, this is really the only album by him you need to have, but you need to have it. He goes, it cooks front to back. I know what you like. Trust me, you won't regret this. And so I zoomed in on the picture, zoomed in on the personnel on the album. It's Frank on the alto, Booker Little on the trumpet, Paul Chambers on the bass, Wynton Kelly on the piano, and Jimmy Cobb on the drums. So automatically, without knowing a damn thing about Frank Strozier, I know this album is fire. So I Tonto jumped on it. It's on VJ. I can't wait to listen to this and maybe give you guys my 2 cents on it in a future video. Again, I had never heard of Frank Strozier. Very excited. cool. I was really excited about this one. All right. Ready for Freddie. Freddie Hubbard. One of the geniuses of Blue Note, obviously. Freddie on the trumpet. Bernard McKinney on the euphonium. Wayne Shorter on the tenor sax. McCoy Tyner on the piano. Art Davis on bass. And Elvin Jones on the drums. And beautiful Blue Note. I wish I could tell you guys this was an original press, but it's not. It's on that. Yeah, you know what those are. The reissues. He acquired an original mono press, and he wasn't about to sell me that. But he had this. This was his one. He's like me in the sense that if he likes an album enough, he will pick up the early reissues as placeholders. And he'll listen to them, he'll love them, and as soon as he gets a chance to upgrade to that original, these are for sale. The originals are his new, or his new, or in their new forever home. So I was the beneficiary of this one. And I will love it until I find my original pressing. And then this one could belong to you guys, so keep it in mind. It could belong to one of you. Very possible. So if you ever see me do a video where I'm showing off my original mono or stereo copy of Ready for Freddie by Freddie Hubbard, drop me in the messages and say, hey man, you got that reissue? Obviously, way more reasonable in the price range than those original stereos and monos. All right, this next one, cover's obviously not perfect. He's assured me the wax is great. It's Let 'Em Roll by Big John Patton. It's an awesome cover. I hate that cover damage, but he made me aware of it before he sold it to me and cut me a great deal just based on that. Let 'Em Roll, Big John Patton, Grant Green, Bobby Hutcherson, Otis Candy Finch, Liberty Press. Anything, I love anything with Big John and Grant Green, especially as a tandem playing together. New York, USA labels. Beautiful. No splits, nothing like that. Great record. I'm very, very, very excited to have this one. Can't wait to get that cleaned up, thrown on a platter. All right, this is cool. This next one, Down to Earth. Freddie Roach on the organ. Percy France on the tenor sax, Kenny Burrell on the guitar, Clarence Johnson on the drums. Again, this is one I wanted for a long time, and I didn't have it in my collection at all. Admittedly, I had been holding out for the original. And those of you who are familiar with jazz and familiar with Blue Note know which pressings these are. Obviously far inferior to the original label we all know and love. But the music's still great and they can be found for cheap. And this is another one of those ones that will hold me. Until I get my original press one day. And again, remember, it could be yours someday. If you ever see me doing a video where I talk about my original mono or stereo, Freddie Roach Down to Earth, drop me a message. Joe Henderson, Mode for Joe. Beautiful. This is an original stereo pressing. This is what really makes me happy. If you guys have been following me around for long enough, you saw me at the very end of a video, 2 or 3 videos back. I don't usually try to pitch things on here, but I know a lot of you guys follow me for my jazz. So I had pitched to you guys that I had just acquired a first stereo pressing of Mode for Joe, and that my second stereo was for sale. Well, got several messages from you guys. I did close the deal with one of you, so thank you. And that pressing goes to a great home. Couldn't be happier. And this original stereo is mine forever. Gotta look at this one. I'd always wanted the first stereo of Joe Henderson's Mode for Joe. New York, USA labels. Gorgeous. No split seams. No nothing. No dust, no dirt. Guys, this is an iconic jazz album. This is a must-have in my opinion. Lee Morgan on the trumpet, Curtis Fuller on the trombone, Joe Henderson, the tenor sax, Bobby Hutcherson on the vibe, Cedar Walton on piano, Ron Carter on bass, and Joe Chambers on the drums. Guys, this one again is immortal. It is a must-have, and I will cherish it forever. No need to upgrade anymore. Next one. Another artist that I've been on a big kick for lately, obviously. Jackie McLean. It's Jackie McLean. It's time. It's actually one of my favorite covers on Blue Note. I don't know why. It's just, it jumps out at you, doesn't it? Maybe it's something about all those damn exclamation points that makes it jump out at you. But I love Jackie McLean. Charles Tolliver, Herbie Hancock, Cecil McBee, or Haynes. And, of course, it's another one of those reissues, but I didn't have the album. I'd always wanted it, and it's a good placeholder. Once again, you guys remember what I said about the other two albums. If you ever see me talking about an original stereo or mono, remember. For now, I'm just happy to have the music. All right, next up, it's another one of those deals where he's in the record store, sees it, knows I like this guy, knows I like these records, and immediately hits me and says, hey man, hold it in my hand, you want Judgment, Andrew Hill. This one's an original stereo pressing. Andrew Hill on the piano, Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes, Richard Davis on the bass, and Elvin Jones on the drums. I love Andrew Hill. I have a great respect for his talents. Is he my everyday lane if I want to hear a piano-driven jazz record? No. I tend to more so go for Monk or McCoy Tyner or Horace Silver if I'm in that mood for just a jazz album I can just kick back and just vibe to, that I can just kick back and have a glass of scotch, have a cold beer. Those are more so my guys, but I love Andrew Hill because he's challenging. It's a challenging listen. He does things that no other jazz pianist really ever did before him or after him, and he is a very skilled guy. And for when I crave a more challenging listen, I really dig this guy. So I have about 4 or 5 albums in the discography of his discography now. I'm okay with getting all of them because, again, every so often I just crave a more challenging listen. And for you guys who are into jazz, who are into the hard bop and everything like that, and are looking to broaden your horizons, especially if you dig piano-driven jazz, and you haven't given Andrew Hill a chance, give Andrew Hill a chance. I don't think you'll regret it. All right, this next one, some of you are definitely not going to know what it is, and then some of you will, and the ones of you who do know what it is are going to be like, holy shit. All right, Chester Thompson, Powerhouse. It's on Black Jazz. I'm going to do a video one day exclusively on Black Jazz as another, intro to jazz, kind of like branch off video. So I'm going to save everything about Black Jazz for that video. But Black Jazz was a great label. Very rare stuff. And this is one of the more rare albums on Black Jazz. So it's awesome. For those of you who know what Black Jazz is and whatnot, you already know. This is super sweet. Players are Chester Thompson on the organ, Raymond Pounds on the drums, Rudolph Johnson on sax, and Al Hall on trombone. He just texts me with this one day and goes, dude, you need this. I'm like, dude, you're right, I really do. So it was another one of the ones. I sent him a little Skrilla through PayPal. He grabbed her for me. We closed that deal. All right, I think I know what I'm down to now. Yeah. All right, all of these coming up. Basically, I think everyone, I mean, I've already showed you guys a couple grails, but everything I got left, I think, if my memory serves correctly, is grill stuff. All right, Thelonious alone, San Francisco, original mono pressing. This is a grill. I've always wanted this. Super clean. Riverside. Again, you guys give Riverside some love if you haven't already. Get some Riverside wax in your life. It's always good. It's always great. I highly recommend it. This is a grail. It will not go to anybody. All right. Man, I love that album. You can never have too much Monk. Ever. I'm looking forward to sitting down with this one and a glass of scotch or bourbon and just taking it all in. This, again, Thelonious alone in San Francisco. This is just Monk, uninterrupted. All right. This next one. Really all of them, but when you do a video so long that you're opening your second beer, maybe you need to start working on winding it down. I promise I won't take up too much more time for you guys. Anyway, next one. The Young Lions. Yeah. Original mono press. It's on VJ. And for you guys who aren't familiar with this one, well, just let me run off the names for you real quick. Lee Morgan. You guys ever heard of him? On the trumpet. Wayne Shorter, tenor. You ever heard of him? Frank Strozier on the alto. Remember that from earlier? The guy said I never heard of. It turns out I'd heard him play. Just didn't put two and two together with the name. Louis Hayes on the drums. Bobby Timmons on the piano. One of my all-time favorite pianists. One of the great underrated geniuses in the history of jazz. Bob Cranshaw on the bass. Albert Heath on the drums. This is a sweet copy. I can already tell. Look how clean the back of that is. My goodness. VJ. Super, super sweet. Man. One I've wanted for many years. Was thrilled to have the opportunity to jump on it. I had never seen the album in person in my life, and then I get an opportunity in consecutive days to have one. 2 different people messaged me. And I had already bought from one of the guys, so I had to tell him, hey man, if only you'd have caught me yesterday. And he's like, what are you? I'm like, I just bought that damn album yesterday. Because anything with this guy's a grow. Coltrane Jazz. Original mono pressing. You guys know how I wag and wheel. You know I have to have all the Coltrane. Not some of the Coltrane, not a few of the Coltrane, all the Coltrane. Oh man. Train, Tyner, Steve Davis on the bass, Elvin Jones on the drums, Wynton Kelly's on some, Paul Chambers on the bass, Jimmy Cobb on drums. I've never owned a copy of this album. There's several times I thought about picking up a copy of this album and stopped myself because I'm like, you know what, I'm going to hold out for the original. And I was getting more and more frustrated waiting for that original, and several times I almost pulled the trigger on a good reissue as a placeholder and never did. And now I don't need to worry about doing that ever again. Coltrane Jazz. All right, next one. Another super cool one I've wanted for a long time. Charles Mingus, the clown. 2 straight on Atlantic. Again, Mr. Train before him. Personnel, Mingus. Curtis Porter on the alto and tenor. Jimmy Knepper on the trombone. Wade Legg on the piano. Danny Richmond on the drums. As with everything with Mingus's name on it, and it's excellent. The cover is super sweet, super sturdy. He had told me the bass, not the bass, the wax wasn't perfect, but that it played all the way through with no problem. And as you guys can see, it's an original mono pressing on the black label. And it looks pretty damn good to me. So I got it for a hell of a deal because, again, the wax wasn't perfect, and my guy always does fair. He always grades condition fair, and he always prices accordingly. I'm looking at the wax just now. I think I might have gotten a pretty decent size still on that one. We'll find out. Wynton Kelly coming in the back door. Old Verve. I love Wynton Kelly. Kenny Burrell, on the guitar. Paul Chambers on the bass. Jimmy Cobb on the drums. Arranged and conducted by Klaus Ogerman. Again, I love Wynton Kelly. I consider him a genius. That beautiful black Verve label. No splits, no anything. As always, from my boy here. Man, again, I wasn't joking when I told you how much of my jazz collection I owe to him. When I owe to just our meeting by happenstance. It's amazing how that happens. Last in the box, I believe. Yes. Legrand Jazz. I'm probably not pronouncing that right because I'm Southern. But Michel Legrand with 31 of America's greatest jazz men featuring Miles Davis. It's a pretty famous album, really. Most of you guys who are jazz guys are going to be familiar with it. The list of personnel is, wow. Herbie Mann, Miles Davis, John Coltrane's on here. Bill Evans is on here, Paul Chambers, Herbie Mann. If I haven't mentioned him already, I'm going through, I'm naming off the biggest, because again, it's with 31 of America's greatest jazz men. So, all killer, no filler in terms of the personnel. But this is awesome. Always eluded my collection. Even though it's, not one of the more expensive ones. It's on Columbia. Take a look at it real quick. Because I love these Columbia labels. The 6 Eyes, the 6 Eye original monos. Some of my favorite labels in all of music. I see anything on Columbia with the 6 Eyes in the past, I've always just bought it. So, that closes out the box. So, thank you, first of all, to you guys for sitting through yet another Tunes from the Man Cave 40-minute video. Thank you to my friend Marcus. Man, you always overwhelm me with the amount of jazz you put in my hands, brother. Let me just go ahead and tell you. I owe at least 75% of my jazz collection to you, and you are a damn awesome guy. And I really appreciate it, and to the jazz I've gotten from you in the past, and to the jazz I will get from you in the future. Cheers to you, my friend. Cheers to you. You're awesome, buddy. And to Melinda Murphy, my you really overwhelmed me, Melinda. That's just so kind, and you didn't have to do it. And again, these were 2 that I did sell off. So thank you for your records and your kind words, and for always supporting my channel, and for always giving me a big head with your super sweet comments, and for always being a must-see YouTube television for me, for always cheering me up with your awesome videos and your kind words, and for this kind deed. I know you put on there not to send anything back. I know you did. I know you did, but I've always been a little bit of a rebel. Full disclosure, warning, I could tell you guys more stories, I'm sure you'll hear them one day, but I've always been a little bit of a rebel. So, I'll make you a deal. I won't send anything back in direct response to this, but when I see something I know you will want and appreciate, don't be shocked. Deal? Thank you again, and thank you guys all once again for watching yet another 40+ minute Tunes from the Man Cave video. You'll be getting some other VCLT or unboxing videos from me soon. I got a lot of ideas, just not much time recently. Till the next time, till the next video, keep dropping that needle, you guys.